Hey guys, happy Sunday to you. We'll be kicking off here. Hello, everybody. Happy evening to you. Welcome to this week's edition of the Energy Garden. Well, we got a nice little group that's showing up here. Rowena, good to see you. Woody, GT, Lois, Deanna. So glad you guys could hear. Everybody's watching out in YouTube land as well. Welcome. I'm noticing here that there's some new features here in Fireside, which is really cool. I'm seeing this Q&A feature. So apparently this makes it much easier for you guys to be able to ask questions throughout the show, I think, without you even have to come up on stage. I mean, you can just ask from where you are. That's pretty cool. So here we are. You know what today is? Today is a full moon. Now, I do talk about the full moon a lot on the Energy Garden shows because, well, I was raised to believe in all of that. And I do believe in all of that. But I think what's important is that we can all appreciate that the universe we live in has some magic to it, doesn't it? It has some energy to it. We have energy. Nature has energy. Weather has energy. The moon, sun has energy. So how do we use all of that? That's the thing. How do we get ourselves present in that situation? And Rowena said on the back end, so good to be at a time I can join. And I love that too. Yeah, I kind of miss doing these evening shows. Mel, welcome. And so yeah, it's good stuff. Plus, we're doing a full full moon show, so couldn't really do that one. I had to do that one in the evening. Just made more sense, right? Guys, you know what this is. Donna, welcome. The full moon, and everybody can approach this in a lot of different ways, but this is a time of starting that, or kind of you're peeking into the new chapter of what you want out of your life. A lot of times the new moon, when the new moon comes around, that's your time that you're kind of you got to clean house a little bit, right? And then we want to start planting those seeds that are going to take us to be able to catapult ourselves into the place that we want to be. There's too many hurdles that we face. And so we get sidelined. We get overwhelmed. We start layering up, right? And we can take the time, though, to understand what's happening in your spirit. What's really happening with that energy source down inside of you? Is it scattered? Is it just bouncing all over the place? Do you have a clear direction? Do you have a clear vision of yourself? Or is all of the stuff that's going on in life too much? And your vision towards yourself, towards your inner spirit, is getting muddy, right? Well, that's the time we have to stop. A full moon is the time that it's the brightest. It's the time that if you open yourself up, that brightness is what's going to shine down inside of you to show some clarity, maybe in some areas that you have not quite looked at. You know, when you get a really, I love finding really bright flashlights because I don't really see well at night. So when I find one of those flashlights, it's really good. Oh man, I love it because you turn that light on, and man, you can see behind stuff you didn't even know. You start finding corners and stuff you had never seen it that clear and that bright before, right? Well, I want you to picture the full moon, but kind of being that way for you. It's a time to relax and meditate. It's a time to open yourself up, tell everybody else to leave you alone for a minute, and then get within yourself, get within your own bubble, and that's okay. Doesn't make you selfish. Doesn't mean you're being rude to somebody. It means you're loving yourself. It means you're giving yourself something that you need in this life. Now, I did grow up, I've shared this in a lot of other shows, but I grew up in a very interesting path. And it wasn't Wicca, but it was kind of similar. I grew up in Ireland, for those that don't know. And so it was a very, very Celtic, very pagan oriented history there. But one thing that my grandmother taught me, even when I was just little, is how to respect cycles, how to respect seasons, how to respect the new moon and the full moon. And the reason being is because what I learned from that wasn't that, oh, we're going to go and do, I'm not talking about going in, dancing naked in the woods or something under the full moonlight. I'm talking about understanding cycles. And whenever you get yourself to feel that energy cycle, because you can feel it if you really try, but when you feel that cycle, that can help you learn how to navigate getting rid of old and bringing in new. And as long as you can maintain that kind of cycle and start exercising that mentally, that's what's going to start helping you cycle through with your emotions and with your conscious mind. Is what can start helping bring some of those things that are maybe buried in your subconscious, right? Follow me? Now we're going to build a cycle that's kind of a wheel. If you picture it kind of like a wheel. And so as that wheel turns, it's bringing a little bit out of the subconscious, bringing it into the conscious, that kind of thing. Now, the reason I'm saying all that is because even in this past week, I've been dealing with a lot of people, like a lot of my sessions I've had with patients, but not just that, with even just friends. Sometimes listening to strangers that I'll sit down next to at a pub or something. And people are, right now, I've heard people are sad. They're unhappy. They're frustrated. Everything's feeling overwhelmed. Maybe people are out here trying to find love. People are dealing with like bad relationships sometimes. People are just frustrated with their jobs. And I asked a couple of people, I said, all right, I hear what you're saying. So now what do you got? And a lot of the things that came back was like, well, there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do because of this thing over here, or there's nothing I can do it because of so and so. Man, it's got nothing to do with anybody else. This has to do with you. Recognizing where you're at. If you got areas that you are unhappy, well, fix it. Resolve it. Build a path that's going to actually make sense for you, because the path you build for yourself is going to be for you, because we are unique individual creatures, are we not? The moon and those cycles carries so much energy with it that if you can learn to tap into that, it can help you recharge, refuel. So that as you're going now into the latter part of this, we're going into the ending of this cycle. So we're launching now into the new moon, right? So with that, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to hold on to what our visions are, hold on to what our passions are, and you don't let anybody else take that away from you, and you stay fervent, you stay perseverant, and you engage yourself. But again, it has nothing to do with anybody else. It doesn't have anything to do with other circumstances or challenges. It has to do with you and your mindset to do something. Now, I do readings for people, like sometimes I do tarot card readings, stuff like that. But when I sit down to do a reading for someone, Do you know what I'm looking at? I'm not looking at cards. I'm not looking at a hand. I'm looking at somebody's face usually. I'm pulling their energy and I'm letting them feel my energy. And then we exchange a moment and I give that person a reading. Now, why is that? It's because energy talks. I was sharing in a show, I think it was on Thursday or something, but we were talking about like how to protect your energy and so forth. And so, for example, when you go into a room, for example, if you're in a room and you're having fun, and then all of a sudden, Dopey Dan walks in, and he's just in a bad mood. He's negative. His world sucks. He's mad. He's depressed, and he comes over, and you feel that, right? You feel that coming off. Well, there's not a whole lot that somebody could probably pull that and say, well, yeah, okay, hey, you're not doing too good right now, are you? He might have a smile on his face that's fake, but you feel that energy. Okay, well, energy moves, energy transfers, and it transfers information. When you're overly excited, you don't have to say a word, right? And you can just go in and people will feel it like, oh my God, what's going on? What happened? You win the lottery or something, right? Right? And so when you understand that energy source, well, energy speaks. The moon speaks. It doesn't really matter what your spiritual belief is. Most of us believe, some of us believe in a higher power. Some people don't believe in any of it. Even the people that don't believe in any of it, though, can't argue with the fact about energy. Can't argue that it's like we operate with like this internal little battery. It's part of us. And we all have that and we can all feel it. But no matter what spiritual path, no matter what religion, that higher power is about, we want to connect to that, right? We want to connect so we feel something. We want to connect so we have some understanding. We want to connect because we got questions. We need to connect because we're feeling off. We want to connect because we feel depressed or sad because we need something more. We want to connect because we've been hurt. Most people that I've talked to also, I don't know of anybody. I don't know of a single solitary person in my world that I know that cannot say or is not saying, I have a lot of childhood trauma. I have a lot of things I'm working through. I had a rough past. I've been hurt. I've been demeaned. I've been degraded. I've been abused. I feel unloved. I feel unworthy. I feel unvalued. Most people have a certain time period or a certain event or certain things that have caused them to feel that way. And in most of those situations, they're not turning around and saying, it doesn't exist anymore. Most of those people are saying, or they're not saying anything because it's in a box somewhere and it's put up on a shelf. It's swept under a rug somewhere because I don't want to deal with it. You know what? That was 12 years ago. I'm not going to bring that up now. What's it matter? Well, here's what it does matter. It prevents you from being fully into yourself. It harms the relationship that you have with who you are and what your path is. That's part of the other part here is understanding what is our path. Our paths can change. Our beliefs change. Yeah, I was brought up in a certain way, right? But have I learned or experienced other things and even learned from other people that have helped change sometimes what I believe and what my spiritual belief is? Doesn't mean I'm negating how I was raised. It just means that I'm taking in more so I can elevate to a different place, but elevating for me of who I am. I'm going to go and I'm going to build myself into what is going to match my heart, my goals, my vision. Nobody else gets to do that for me. I have to do it. And no matter what you believe, you still have to start with yourself. What do most spiritual paths rely on? Faith. Do you know what faith is? Faith is sometimes believing in the unseen, but you believe it so fervently that it just is. It just is. Tonight, I'm going to look up at the moon. When it pops up, shows itself, right? Will I believe in that, in the magic and the energy that that moon has? One, because I feel it. But number two, I have faith it's there. I know it. Now, I want you to take that aspect, though, and I want you to turn it inward. Do you have faith in yourself? Do you believe in who you are? And do you believe it so fervently that nothing's going to shift it? Nothing. Nobody else. No situation. But you believe in certain aspects of who you are as a person. And what do you deserve? You deserve all of it. We all deserve to be heard, seen, loved, embraced, cherished, supported, right? We all deserve that. But now, do we have faith that do we have faith in that? I have faith in the fact that I deserve and want all of those things. I know it. I know it. And so when I'm going to encourage you to do something, and I've done this before in some other shows, but I'm going to encourage you guys to do something. This is a full moon. And I want you to embrace this full moon as that light shining down inside of you. And I want you to give yourself a time period of space, like before you go to bed tonight. And I want you to meditate for a minute. And if you don't know how to meditate, or you're like, I don't even know what that looks like, get quiet. Let yourself just get quiet. You want to put on some soft music in the background, do your thing. But get quiet. Put your phone to the side. And I want you to get still within yourself. I mean, I would encourage go outside and look at the full moon, you know. And then I want you to write a very short letter to yourself. Nobody's going to read it. It's for you. It's just yours. But I want you to write to yourself a short letter telling yourself what you see. What do you see? What do you have faith in? That could be it. It's your letter of faith towards what you see in yourself. What are you going to believe in? And also, what do you hold on to? And what will you embrace no matter what? What are the areas that you can see that you are going to decide that nobody and nothing will ever take that from you? I want you to put that. And I also want you to put, what are the things that you see that you're struggling with? What do you not have so much faith in? Do you not have faith that you're loved? Do you not have faith that you're worth something? And if that's the case, I want you to write it down. And then, after you're done writing that letter, I want you to sleep on it, literally. Fold it up, put it under your pillow, and then in the morning, I want you to go outside before you go to work or whatever you're doing tomorrow morning. I want you to go outside, I want you to burn it. And when you burn it, you're releasing it. You're releasing it into this full moon energy cycle that we're in. I want you to release it, and then you claim it, okay? And the things that are less than that you point out, now we're going to believe that you will see progress in that between now and the new moon. Now, why do I say that? Because I have faith in it. Because I know that if you decide it, you can make that happen. I know that if you put forth that action, you can make it happen. Because now you believe it. So start believing it. Because you are beautiful. You do deserve love. You do deserve all those things. You deserve to have your goals. You deserve to have your dreams come true. You deserve to get that project done. You deserve to do the things you want to do. You deserve to find new love. You deserve to get out of the fucking maybe toxic relationship you're in. You deserve to clean house. You deserve to get yourself organized. This is the time to do it. I called this the full moon party, not because I'm busting out any pints over here, but because I'm going to celebrate this full moon as a celebration of celebrating who we are as people. Let's celebrate our uniqueness, our creativity. Let's celebrate that we're going to do something different. Here we are in October. We got 3 months, just under 3 months left of this year. Now, what are we going to do with that? What are we going to do? What's your path going to look like at the end of this year? And can you look back at 2022 and feel pleased? Do you look back and feel discouraged? Do you look back? What do you feel? And for a lot of people, it's been productive and great, and that's good. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer here. I'm just trying to say, let's just look at what our path is. What steps are you taking, and what steps are you coming from? The other thing too is that this is the time period, like I said, to clean house. And what I mean by that is let go of people that you need to let go of. I know that's hard to do sometimes. Excuse me, but there's far there is far too many people holding on to toxic people and then wonder why their life's not happy and why they just feel so down all the time. There are people that are staying in emotionally abusive relationships, physically abusive relationships, but there's no plan. There's no faith in getting past that. There's no faith that I deserve more than that. That becomes the normal. Same thing is true for bad mindsets. Same thing is true for when we let ourselves just get to past a certain point with anxiety, depression, stress, all those things. And if you get past a certain point, man, it's hard to get out. It's really hard to get out. So I'm encouraging all of you, take pause. Take pause. Stop for a second. Really look at what's going on around you. Really look at your world and look at your heart. Figure out what your spirituality is. I like to point this out. Religion is man-made. Spirituality is your core nature. Spirituality is because we are spiritual beings. So spirituality, figure out what that is for you. And if you don't know, that's okay. Go on an exploration, make it a fun journey. Because I guarantee you, the more you start diving into your spirit self, that's your true self. That's when you start to be able to build that relationship with who you are. That's when you can start listening to that intuition, that gut feeling. That's when you can start letting your subconscious actually have some say in the matter. Because your subconscious is that vault that's carrying everything, and your subconscious can be your friend. I've heard other psychologists before say, I heard I couldn't believe it, but I heard this statement. Tapping into the subconscious is bad, it's unhealthy, and it's the subconscious for a reason, because it's below then. I almost fell off my chair. It's so opposite from what you need to think about. Your subconscious, man, is there to fucking help you. Your subconscious is that thing that gives you that intuition, that gut feeling, that's trying to communicate to your head, because your head, that's the beast. The head is the thing that's going to get in the way. Your head is the thing that creates those obstacles, the hurdles, the deep holes in the path, throwing rocks in your way, cutting trees down. I mean, that's what the head does. Because it's scary sometimes to tell the head to shut the fuck up and you just go with your gut, go with your heart, go with your spirit. It's hard going and grabbing hold to that subconscious thought and saying, whoop, gonna ride this one out. But when you do, man, that's liberating. That's freeing. It's freeing. And that's what this new moon is today. I mean, this full moon is. This full moon is going to shine down some clarity in you, pour some fresh energy into you. That'll take us down through the next half of this cycle. But let it show you something. More importantly, give yourself permission to see it. Give yourself permission to just open up, no matter what happens, no matter what's there. Open up and just look. Because when you do that, then it helps you take inventory, doesn't it? And then you can start saying, all right, you know what? Yeah, I need to clean this out of my life. I need to get this out of my spirit. I need to kill this bad pattern or bad habit. I need to do all these things. Or I've started this project and it's making me feel so good. I'm just not putting enough time into it. So put more. So start allotting more time to do the thing that you love. Start claiming that passion. But more importantly, start loving yourself more. There is no relationship on this planet, none. Not your wife, not your husband, not your boyfriend, not your girlfriend, not your parents, not your kids. There's not one single relationship that matters more than the relationship that you have with yourself. Because if you lose that relationship, Other people are going to pick that up and sense that because you're not in a position that you're actually able to give all of who you are. And you're not taking full care of yourself. If you're not taking full care of yourself, now you're showing other people how to treat you. Wow, that sounds harsh, doesn't it? But it's true. And loving yourself first does not make you selfish. I've had people debate me on that one too, like, well, of course my kids come first. Well, yeah, but if you're in a shitty situation and you're letting yourself just kind of live in the tanker, then what kind of parent are you being to your kids? Right? We got to wake up sometimes and realize, hey, I'm not okay right now. I need to get okay. I need to love myself first. And that's why it's important. We surround ourselves with people that are going to be like-minded in that regard. That's why we got to ditch toxic people, toxic situations. It's why we need to get rid of that so we change our atmosphere. Garnett down below, dear friend, love him to death, and he does a great show that I've been able to be part of with him on another platform. And you know, GT, I'm going to ask you to come up probably to see if you have a lovely gem for us on this. But we were talking in the last room, and one of the things was like one aspect we were talking about atmosphere, you know, and it's important to look at your atmosphere. And what I mean by that, like, look at your house. Look at like, is your house cluttered? Is it in disarray? Is it, you know, do you have to kind of like, is it navigating a minefield just to get from the bedroom to the kitchen, or, you know, that's conducive of your mindset. How much better do you feel when your house is cleaned up, things are organized? It's like you can breathe, right? Well, same thing when you live in a space like that and your atmosphere is clean, your mindset can be much clearer. So it's important that we take note of that. What is your surrounding? And that includes what people you have in your life. It includes maybe the shit you deal with at your job or whatever the case may be, but you got to look at it. And you really got to get your atmosphere, like the space that is your world too. Like you get to decide what your world is, and your world can be a clutterfuck of a mess, or it can be organized to the point that you can breathe and like actually live in it and see all around you. That's important. And again, full moon tonight. Let it shine down some clarity. Pull some energy of cleaning out, of shedding light on your entire world and atmosphere. So important. Now, this is a very different show from the Sight Candy show. And what I mean by that is that I'm opening the stage up, and for all of you guys to make comments, ask questions, share something. Would love to hear from anybody that wants to come up. And I did try to put GT on the spot, so I did invite him up. We'll see if he comes up. This is Garnett lives in Canada, so this is his Thanksgiving. And I was like, and he was telling me about his turkey dinner. It made me jealous, man. I have to wait another month down here. Even though, you know, I'm from Ireland, I don't really celebrate Thanksgiving in the same fashion, but I got used to it, obviously, because I've been here for so long. So now I look forward to that turkey dinner very much so. But if anybody would like to come up, please, by all means, you're welcome. And kind of shifting gears just a little bit. Now, I don't know how many of you down there believe in like readings and stuff. Like, I don't know if you've ever had your tarot card reading or a palm reading or stuff like that. But do you know one of the things that makes that unique of what it is? I mean, granted, people are gifted, people can read, right? But what makes something like that special and what makes a reading work is the person's ability to actually give permission to give into something like that. Meaning you're opening yourself up in a way that is different than what you would normally do. To sit down and like meet a total stranger, for example, well, you're gonna be more guarded up. Whereas if you sit down with somebody like, hey, let me read your cards, and they're like, oh wow, I've always wanted to have that done. Yeah, sit down. There's an immediate release sometimes for people, and I run into that a lot when I'm out in public because there are a lot of people around here. They know that I do that, so I'll be asked every now and then, like, hey, would you give me a reading? Well, I don't know these people, but what happens, like, I can watch that drop. Meaning that, all right, you know what? I asked for this, so I'm entering this moment on my own accord, and I'm actually gonna sit down and go with it, right? That mentality is what I'm trying to encourage you to do. One, today with full moon, but number two, with yourself. You got to allow yourself sometimes to be vulnerable in order to get to something that might be new. You have to allow yourself to let down those guards, break down the walls just for a minute so that you can actually see what that even feels like to do, to get past it a little bit. Because when you start doing that, it allows you to start opening up even more and more in other situations of your life. You know, and there is a difference in energy. There's a difference of projection that I will get from somebody who's very like anti anything like that. Meaning, it's not about being anti having your cards read. It's about anti. I will not let myself open up to anything that's weird or outside of the norm or anything like that because no, doesn't make sense to me. So I'm not going to do it. Right, and that's fine. Being cautious is okay, but when you gear yourself that way, you're teaching yourself how to live behind a varied version of the real you. So it's almost like going through life with version 1 and version 2, right? And so only certain people will ever get to version 1. Everybody else is going to get version 2. And people that are able to really just open up sometimes, it's okay. Look at things logically. Is me doing A, B, or C going to hurt me? No, it's not. It might be scary or just different, but that's okay. Because sometimes scary and different is not always bad. Sometimes it can actually open up a door that, wow, I never thought of it like that. Man, that felt really different, or that felt really weird. And then you start applying that feeling, though, into other areas maybe where you've been locked down before. That's usually what a reading is about. It's about just making you open your brain up to think about stuff, you know? So now I'm encouraging you to do that to yourself. I want you to give yourself a reading tonight, just in your own head. And that's why I'm saying I want you to write that letter to yourself. And you don't have to, but I'm just saying, but if you do that, I'm telling you, you're going to tell a difference. You will tell a difference. And I would love to hear any stories of what you felt tomorrow morning when you burned that piece of paper and let it go. I'm telling you, you're going to feel a sense of liberation with that. Even if it's small, you're going to feel a sense of liberation. And that is a seed, my friend. That's something that you're planting now down inside yourself. And I'm going to send positive energy to every single one of you in this room that you elevate yourself in whatever way you need to, because nobody else can dictate that. Only you can. Only you can decide that. So elevate. Elevate. Well, guys, I hope that you were able to pull something positive from this, and it's good stuff. And I'm going to give a few more minutes. I don't know if let me see if Garnet will come up here, but anyway, but guys, listen, do something for you. Let this be that time of change. Let that moon shine down and show some light into your life. But more importantly, give yourself permission for that to happen. Give yourself permission to look inward, right? Because I promise you, if you start building a practice like that, no matter what you're going through, you can make it better. You just have to believe in yourself first, and you got to build that faith that you have in who you are as a person. As long as you have that and you don't lose that, I promise you, you're going to go to a much better place, and you're going to feel better. You're going to feel healthier and happier. It's going to be a good thing. So guys, I love you to death. Sending you much love and light tonight. Please enjoy your full moon tonight. Do something for you. Do something special for you. And I do encourage you to write that letter. Test me on it. Try it. See how it makes you feel. All right, guys. I'll be back for Sight Candy tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. So I hope to see some of you here then. And until then, have a very blessed and amazing rest of your Sunday. And love and light to all of you. Cheers.